Help! My house is on fire. At 4 a.m., I received a sudden phone call from my 6-year-old granddaughter. Get help from your mom right away. I was screaming hard at my granddaughter on the other end of the phone. Mom hasn't gotten up since my dad beat her. I was surprised by the shocking words that came out of her mouth, and I just drove my car fast and headed there. Then, there was an unbelievable scene. Such a thing. I was speechless at the worst situation and collapsed on my knees. At the same time, I was filled with uncontrollable anger towards my son-in-law. My daughter, Charlotte, had been shy and timid since she was little. She was always the kind of girl who would stick to me and my husband and hide. I was deeply moved by the sight of Charlotte walking down the Virgin Road with her father. The person Charlotte chose to marry was Milo, who was 4 years older than her and a senior at the same company. In contrast to Charlotte, it was said that he was determined and leading. It was when he came to my house to greet their marriage. Nice to meet you. I'm dating Charlotte and I'm sure I'll make her happy, so can you forgive me for marrying her? He was a little nervous, but my husband and I had a good impression of him when he clearly declared, and we decided to approve the marriage. I never imagined that my withdrawn daughter would introduce a man to us. I felt a little lonely, but most of all, I was happy that Charlotte had chosen her partner. You found a nice person. Yes, thank you. I have to do my best to support him properly from now on. I felt a strong determination in her words, and I was just amazed at the positive change in her feelings. At the strong request of Milo, Charlotte quit her job after marriage and became a full-time housewife. The two of them bought a second-hand house and started their newlywed life. Milo has asked if you would like to have a meal with us. How about next Sunday? Is it okay? Isn't he tired from work? Yes, it's okay. As we're family, he wants you not to worry about it. Took advantage of the generosity of them. We have meals together more and more, and each time I felt the strength of Milo's pertinence towards Charlotte. It was when Charlotte failed the dish they were supposed to serve that day. Why would you make such a simple mistake? Anyone could have done it with the recipe. Don't you understand what is written? I'm sorry. Milo's voice was raging, and Charlotte was looking down with a very sad expression. What's wrong? Are you okay? Mother-in-law, I'm sorry, it looks like Charlotte has messed up. Oh yes, I'm going to help Charlotte, so Milo, will you keep me company with my husband? But then I feel so sorry. My husband beckoned the hesitant son-in-law and drank with him, so the situation was settled. Mom, I'm sorry you came all this way. It's okay, we all make mistakes, and the more you do this from now on, the fewer mistakes you'll make. I encouraged Charlotte by saying that, but as a parent, it was still sad to see Charlotte being told terrible things in front of me. I regretted myself that if I had taught her more, Charlotte and I might not have felt so sad. A few months later, I received a happy report from Charlotte and her husband that they had a baby. Milo cares for Charlotte, lovingly stroking her belly, which is still almost unbulging. When I saw the two of them, I thought, this is how they should gradually become a couple and then a family. Thanks to you, Charlotte seems to be relieved and I can do my best at work. Not only during pregnancy, but also after giving birth, I occasionally visited Charlotte and her husband to support Charlotte. Of course, there was also a lot of reason because I could meet my cute first grandchild. However, it was about 6 months after the birth of my granddaughter, Sage. The attitude of the son-in-law, who I thought was calm, changed little by little. "Stop Sage from crying right now. If you can't do that, you're an unfit mother." Perhaps irritated by the baby, Milo yelled in the strongest tone I had ever heard. However, this only made the baby cry more and more. I tried my best to be gentle and cuddle up to my son-in-law. "Milo, calm down. Sage is also surprised. If you come home from work and your baby cries all the time, you'll be tired. But, mother-in-law, don't spoil Charlotte too much." In the middle of the conversation, he covered his words and said it harshly to me. And as it was, the son-in-law walked out of the room. "Mom, I'm sorry for making you feel uncomfortable." "I'm fine, but is it always like that? He looks so tired lately." Milo may be yelling at Charlotte on a daily basis. It was very painful to see the sad face of Charlotte as she spoke in a deceptive manner. Since then, I haven't seen Milo at Charlotte's house. Maybe I made an unnecessary statement. Such anxiety crossed my mind, and I was worried about Charlotte, who was losing energy day by day. "What's wrong? What's bothering you?" "Nothing, it's okay." No matter how many times I asked, she kept repeating it, and Charlotte didn't want to say anything, and she gradually blocked it out. I wonder if she's tired from childcare. Just when I thought I needed to be a little more attentive, I was called to talk to her and went there. "Mom, please don't come to my house anymore." "What's wrong with you saying that all of a sudden?" To be honest, I couldn't hide my shock at Charlotte's words. I thought if I didn't do it on my own, instead of relying on my mom all the time, I wouldn't be a proper mother forever. That's not true. If you have someone to help you, it's not a bad thing to rely on them, right? I tried to talk to her, but she didn't agree with me at all. "Okay, but if you have any problems, don't hesitate to tell me." "Thank you, Mom. Take Sage with you once in a while to come visit us." I was still anxious, but I wondered if it was my growth as a parent, so I decided to keep an eye on Charlotte. After that, as promised, she began to bring her child to visit us from time to time, but I was worried about Charlotte's lack of energy. She just told me that it was okay when I asked anything, and I was at a loss as to what to do. After Sage went to kindergarten, I didn't see them as much as I did, and when she was 6 years old, she seemed to be busy with something, and they rarely came to visit my house. Then, one morning, around 4 o'clock in the morning, my cell phone rang throughout the room. Who is it from early in the morning? When I picked up my smartphone in my sleepy eyes, it showed Charlotte on the screen. "Hello? What's the matter with you at this hour?" "Grandma, help me, my house is on fire." On the other end of the phone, I heard the voice of Sage, who was about to start crying, not Charlotte. "Sage? Where is your mom? Get help from Mom right away." All at once I was bloodthirsty and I was shouting hard at Sage. Mom hasn't gotten up since my dad beat her. What do you mean? Perhaps because she had been holding back for a long time, Sage began to cry loudly. It's all right. I'll go right now. Anyway, get out of the house right away. I called 911, required for fire trucks and ambulance, and then my husband and I drove fast to our daughter's house. It should be a lie. When we arrived, an unimaginable and horrifying scene came to life. The fire spread more than I expected, and I was stunned speechless. As the firefighting effort took place in front of me, I was helpless and collapsed to my knees in shock. When I was being held by my husband and watching the situation, Charlotte came out on a stretcher from inside. Charlotte! Charlotte! From behind her, I could see Sage being held by the emergency services. Grandma! When Sage noticed me, she immediately ran up to me and hugged me. I was scared. I see, but I'm glad you're safe. I hugged Sage with all my might. And I was to ride in the ambulance with Sage and Charlotte. Fortunately, Sage was evacuated outside the house, and only suffered minor burns to her hands, which was not serious. Charlotte, on the other hand, was unconscious and went straight to the intensive care unit. The doctor told me with a serious expression, "I want you to be prepared," and I couldn't hide my upset. However, I was determined not to cause anxiety to Sage, so I was motivated and behaved with dignity. Anyway, I kept calling my son-in-law to let him know what was going on, but it just rang and there was no sign of connection. "Milo, where and what are you doing?" I decided to come back later and first talk to Sage. "Can you tell me what Dad did to Mom?" Yes, I woke up to Mom's voice saying, "Stop it," and Dad's loud voice. When the granddaughter went to the front of the room where their voices were heard, Milo raised his hand to Charlotte and then went somewhere. She was worried about her mom and went into the room after her dad was gone. "I was told to give this bear to your grandma." Charlotte said that, pointing to a stuffed animal on the shelf and hanging Sage her phone along with it. I was next to Mom the whole time, and I smelled something weird, and when I went over, there was a fire. Sage immediately went back to her mom's room, but no matter how much she called Mom, Charlotte wouldn't wake up, and she didn't know what to do, so she called me. "I see. Thank you for contacting me." "Yes." "Hey, Grandma. Do you think Mommy is okay?" "The doctors are doing their best, so it should be okay." After gently calling out to calm her down, I received the stuffed animal that Sage had entrusted to me. "Is there anything inside?" I felt a strange weight, and when I looked closely, I saw a mark that looked like it had been sewn together later. When I pried it open and looked inside, I found a certain thing in it along with a letter from Charlotte. Why is there such a thing? Just when I was wondering, I received a call back from my son-in-law. "What's the matter with you so early in the morning? Your house caught fire and Charlotte and Sage were taken to the hospital." "I see. I've been out of the prefecture on a business trip since yesterday. I don't think I'll be able to go home until later tonight." My son-in-law didn't seem too surprised, didn't worry about his wife and child, and didn't ask anything more. What the hell is he going to do with a lie? After I hung up the phone, I felt an uncontrollable anger build up inside me. The story of Milo, which was at odds with Sage, filled me with distrust of him. Sage was also hospitalized for treatment of burns, just in case, and I left the hospital and hurried to Charlotte's house. I didn't realize how bad it was. The house was half burned, and the only thing that remained was the garage and the surrounding area. I hope it's safe. After reading Charlotte's letter, I was digging through the burnt ruins for a purpose. And when I came to the answer, I was convinced. At the same time, the ringtone rang and I rushed back to the hospital. I will never forgive. I'm going to throw into hell. I vowed to do so, and while trembling with anger, I decided to take revenge on my son-in-law. Later that night, a solemn-looking Milo came to our house. After I got home, I contacted him and said, "Charlotte is gone, and I want to talk to you about the future." "Where's Charlotte?" "She's not here. Sage is in the hospital for treatment of burns." "I see." The son-in-law didn't change his expression, he just nodded, and I couldn't read what he was thinking. "We've made the arrangements for the future. I'm sorry, I didn't discuss anything with you about anything." "No, I'm sorry that I had to leave everything to you, thank you." It seemed he felt a little sorry for us. Milo bowed deeply. "It's so sudden that I can't sort out my feelings, so I want to leave the funeral and all the procedures after that to you." "That's not right, is it? If I don't distract myself at work, I don't think I can keep myself going due to shock." He stood up with his head down, and then he walked towards the front door. "I'm not going to let it be over here." So I pulled out of my pocket a letter from Charlotte. "The fact that you are reading this now means that I am no longer in this world. I'm sorry I've worried you all this time." As I began to read with my voice trembling, my son-in-law stopped walking. "Is that her testament? Does that mean that my wife set fire to herself?" "She's not that weak of a person, just listen to the end." "But that is," Milo said with a disgruntled voice, but I snapped Charlotte's words to him. "It's all due to my husband." "What? It cannot be. Charlotte's going to try to trap me at the end." Just when he seemed to deny it out loud, Milo began to sniffle and pretended to cry. "Can you excuse me even if you see this?" I opened the computer I had beside me and showed the screen to my son-in-law. "This is..." His speechless expression turned pale. What was reflected there was exactly the scene where he brought a woman into the house and had an affair. "Why do you have such a thing?" Charlotte had this in a stuffed animal in the living room. I held out a small camera in front of him. Why did she do such a selfish thing? My son-in-law became angry and slammed his fist on the table. In Charlotte's letter, she expressed concern about her husband's actions, saying that he might be having an affair while she was away. After the birth of her child, Charlotte, who had been suspicious of Milo for not returning home and treating her coldly, was trying to prove by herself. What the hell is that? Milo tries to leave the room while mumbling about it, perhaps because he had become inconvenienced. Where are you going? It's not finished. Is it still something? It's enough. My son-in-law looked disgusted and sighed heavily. Milo started raising his hand on a daily basis because he was so preoccupied with his cheating partner that he got in the way of me. Again, without any evidence. Let's finish then. Do you think I don't have any? And you can't end it like this. I slapped the video in front of my son-in-law again. Is it about time you explain what that means? Shoo. Cornered, he lifted the computer and threw it to the floor vigorously. What are you doing? I wish she could just shut up and obey what I say, but since our kid was born, she's been expressing her opinion more and more. What's wrong with that? She's trying to make me take care of the kid too, and it's annoying. I'm working outside, so childcare is a woman's job. Milo must have had a rigid way of thinking. But that was not a good reason to raise his hand. Charlotte is certainly a quiet person, but isn't she trying to change little by little with the birth of Sage, who is more important than herself? I don't want her to do that, and if she had been at my mercy, I wouldn't have cheated on her or raised my hand. My son-in-law didn't seem offended at all, and finally became defiant. Well, Charlotte is gone now, and it's over, so it's okay. Nothing's good, isn't it? Sage says that just before the fire, Dad raised his hand to Mom and left. You can't rely on what the kid says. He was grinning, snorting. Besides, I have been on a business trip since the day before, so there's no way I can do that. Confidently, he tries to dismiss Sage's testimony as nothing. Then why is the person who went on a business trip shown here? I pulled my phone out of my pocket and pointed the video at Milo. As Sage said, there was my son-in-law who had raised his hand to Charlotte just before the fire. The firefighter said that the fire was likely caused by someone setting it on. Perhaps you did it. Oh, I don't know that. Oh, really? Then, what does this mean? What? Milo was surprised at the amount of evidence that came out one after another. Immediately after my son-in-law ran outside, it was perfectly recorded that the fire had broken out. Why are there such things left? Charlotte had secretly set up a camera in the garage as well, and I'm really glad it wasn't on fire. It was the daughter's action to capture the decisive moment of the affair, but my son-in-law would never have imagined that the crime would be exposed in such a way. I'm going to the police with this. Wait, I won't let you do that. He had a terrifying look on his face and attacked me to snatch my phone from me. Stop it. I'm telling you to stop. I resisted, but I was pushed down, and my son-in-law got on top of me and tried to raise his hand to me. Stop it. Then, here, in the next room, my husband, who was recording the whole thing, stopped it. Stop, old man. I said get off me. Milo was easily seized by my husband and was unable to move. I got this from Charlotte. I held out a piece of paper that I had in my bag to him. What do you mean by this? I mean, my son-in-law didn't seem to know what's what. That was right, because what I gave him was the divorce papers with Charlotte's signature in column on it. In fact, thanks to the doctor's diligent treatment, Charlotte managed to survive. The phone call I received when I retrieved the camera in the garage was meant to let me know How could you tell such a lie that your daughter is gone even though you are parents? My son-in-law, who understood everything, raised his voice. I haven't said she passed away, have I? What's gone is Charlotte's heart, which was so weak to say anything. So you decided on the rest of the arrangements on your own. Aren't you talking about her funeral? Oh, that's about Charlotte's moving. Don't be silly. You fool me. He went on a rampage, desperately trying to shake off the arm that was still being held by my husband. Oh, yes, she said she is going to file a damage report. If the fact that you set it on fire is added, the crime will be quite serious, won't it? As soon as he heard that, Milo held his head, changed his attitude, and started crying at me. No, please don't. If you do that, I'll be finished. We're family, aren't we? And Charlotte and Sage were saved. You're not a family member, and people who do such horrible things should go to hell. I refused him bluntly, and he stood there in a daze. After that, I presented all the evidence to the police, and Milo was arrested. I heard that he was charged with a serious crime and that he would be living behind bars for the time being. And the divorce with Charlotte was officially finalized. She charged a total of $150,000, $80,000 for alimony and medical expenses due to emotional distress, $70,000 for child support, and $10,000 for the cheating partner. Milo's parents took care of all the expenses. They said that he would pay for his sins and return it when he came out, but after that, they would disinherit him. It took a while, but she was safely discharged from the hospital and moved into our house with Sage. While watching over Charlotte and Sage, who are gradually recovering their energy, I would like to wish them happiness and support them firmly from now on.